Hello and welcome everyone. Sorry for a bit late start. It's been a busy day, so I was surprised that the game is actually already in a full functional capture status from this new, quote-unquote new installation. So I didn't have to do that much tinkering, but I didn't want to reset the game. So we have had some different starting music for once. So further ado, let's actually jump into the game. Boom, there we go. And let's see, do we actually obtain justice for all? Gotta love how the first episode is the Lost turnabout. Is it gone, or have we already lost? With Fuego playing, you will think we have already lost. And here we get a scene which everyone claims I made up, which is not actually in the game. There, I had to take a screenshot because everyone claims this is actually not a not a thing that happens in the game. I even posted a screenshot on the 3DS. And that's been the one I've been using so far. And people still say, no, that never happened. Also, it's a shame that I never actually seen a phone that has Fuego as an option from the get-go. It's usually some random Mozart songs, never Bach. And that's the end of Wright. Imagine if that would be where the series actually ended, at least for him. They could have actually played it as a Metal Gear Solid type of deal, but the reverse. Advertising that it's the end, even though it's not. Also, I have no memory that she had those red feathers on her. Or is this something new with this current version? Or am I just completely forgetting that they existed? Well, that's what Wright usually does, but yeah, the Phoenix being known is a fluid concept in the series. Like, after the events of the first game, he should be super known. He should be swarming with clients wanting in the defend. But well, you'll see eventually when we get further along. And sorry if I'm like randomly stopping or randomly going a bit fast with the text. It's to do with the fact that I'm tired and I'm actually playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on the side. So I'm in a Ace Attorney mode, but in a mode where I would just be playing and not sharing. Ba-bum. The way that they just drop it like that, it makes it much better writing and suitable in a way. But imagine if someone would have just randomly picked up this game, not any of the others. In that case, the start wasn't that done in that well of a manner. It's easy to jump in. How would I explain this simply? If you guys know the comics or the game 13, you know how that starts. It's an amnesia start, but it's like poof brought up on you. So it's easy to like get along because even the main character has no idea what's going on. So the player feelings of the same thing don't feel like such a bad thing. You have to learn with the character. No. Yeah, defense hasn't been given any slack here. He has to be ready. The prosecution can be all sloppy as they want. And yeah, like this kind of bias from the judge would actually be very normal in real courts, because every judge wants to make a guilty verdict because they will boost up from it. Same as with every prosecutor gets a boost from every guilty verdict, while defense attorneys, they don't really get a boost from not guilty verdicts, which is sick, especially how it's 2 against 1. But with the judge knowing the events of the first game, he's acting very, very strict and out of character at this moment. But it's the start of the game, so you have to treat it as a new start. And we are facing pain again at the start. And yeah, you're seeing a lot of parallels at the start here. Oh yeah, I might actually want to tinker the sound a bit. There we go. And adjust my seating by quite a lot. Oh, I've been walking back and forth today. There was actually a new quote-unquote shopping mall opening today, so I actually went there. And I knew that they are going to give out like a bag. I don't know, is it a tote bag, like the name of it? Like not leather, but like a woven kind of deal, reusable bag. Anyway, they were giving out those. I knew that already, but I didn't expect that they would also give out flowers to everyone. That was a bit surprising, and it's been like 10 years the last time I've been given flowers, even though it was something done to everyone. It was like a shock. It felt so neat. Like, of course they withered the moment I touched them, but still the like the the intent was there. And yeah, and then I also ran to the city center as well, as I received a message that there is something I have ordered. And I would have never guessed that it was actually the vampire team for Underworlds. I finally have it. Like, I'm in a odd sort of bliss because of that. Like, I actually had to stop down and get some ice cream to cool down. I was that told. I also had a coupon that was about to expire. €2. Soft served ice cream and fries. Can't be beaten. Can't be beaten. Oh yeah, and a dip as well. I just don't get the idea that it or like the offers like this started as some sort of fad where you're meant to dip the fries into the ice cream. But if that's the case, why do you get a dip with it? Also, I don't really get that as a big thing. I never been able to actually like try it because I wanted to eat the fries at a acceptable place. Like the city center was filled. I had a hard time to find a place just to eat the ice cream alone. So. But the benches on the upper path. Where does anyone see the bench? A bench. I don't see a single bench. Also, look at how like over the line everyone looking down are. Like that fence is dangerously low. And it also seems to have quite big gap between the poles and how like high the middle pole goes, and like there's the gap under and between. I mean, it seems like a very, very bad construct overall. Well, that should be very familiar to him. If he had his memory. We just have to wait until the autopsy report is going to be updated again. But, you know. So, let's actually look at the evidence. Well, we have the phone, but I don't know, but I don't remember what it means or how it got there. If you don't have any memory, like any memories, wouldn't you expect that the phone would be your phone? And yeah, that's something to be guessed as well. So, not not bashing on that. But yeah, we have the time of death, 6:28, and broken net. Classes, and the photo. You might already notice a couple of weird things in the photo, but we won't be getting into that yet. So let's continue on. Like, overall, I don't think I'll be streaming that long. I have no memory how long this episode is going to be, but like vague memory would be that it's the tutorial one. It wasn't that long, so I might even just to make a very short stream this week and just stop after this is done, if it was the case. But we'll have to see like how short will it be for me. But yeah, like I'm just out of energy. I sent a lot of applications to places today as well. And the fact that I wake up early and went to bed super late. Those also help with the fact of being super tired. But after the stream, I hopefully get the energy boost I usually get at the later times, so I can get to painting. Like, I don't have that much more to do, and the greater unclean one would be painted. I really wanted to add to the part of the army that's painted. Sadly, it won't, like, there's no way I can get it to be the part, to be like the starting force for the upcoming Path and Glory campaign, which I should get my first game next Wednesday, which I'm really looking forward to. Tab. I think I order a tab. No, let's not do that. Where was I? Yeah, so unfortunately the Great Unclean One won't be like in the starting party, but it will be there like soon enough. I might like save up points in that, however it works. I don't still have the books, so I don't know how. I know that I need to obtain glory and that I can use on things, but when I can, I will add it to be in the party. I still have no spellcasters. It would be nice to have one. And from what I understood, like it's all the starting points which I don't use will be wasted. So in my starting points there will be a single spell. And it would be neat to have some use for the spell. It's not a good one, but it's an endless spell, so I need a spellcaster. And the Greater Unclean One is like the only wizard character I have for the army. So I'm not taking from the Skaven side. The Blake Furnace is not built yet even. Because the idea is that I would have the Blake Furnace and the Blake Priest that are like separate options. So if push comes to shove, I might even have like both. But overall, looking at how expensive the models are point-wise, my Nurgle army might not get the Skavens to be there at all. It might be that I will actually create two complete armies. One is Skaven Clan Pestilence, and one is just Nurgle Demons. And from what I know of the current army building, it's actually going to work way better that way for battle line and whatchamacallit, gore battalions. Yeah, because I want catapults for the Skavens. I actually finished painting one, but there were classes. I kinda kept the game for a bit too long there, but at least we got our small story time going. Oh, I just noticed something bad. My streams timer says, like on the Twitch side, that I have only been streaming for 8 minutes. While on the OBS side itself, almost half an hour. And it's been closer to half an hour. So I really hope that the stream hasn't cut. It hasn't done that for a couple of weeks, so would be really annoying if it did. Because this time there was like no stopping. You would have lost something that happened. Like, there is no mercy if this game cuts. And it's unfortunate, but can't be helped, can't be helped. And here we get into the thing which I mentioned earlier. More parallels. Like, this case is technically kind of like combining the first two cases in the first game, but cut about like the combined, like what's. I'm unable to speak today. Seems to be I've been locked the entire day. Not the entire day. At the game store when I was getting my order. I actually spent a bit too long talking. That's why the stream started a bit late. That entire trip took a bit long. But anyway, from what I remember, that the length of this case is about if you would combine the first two cases in the first game and divide it by 2 and then minus the difference of the 2 from that combined. If you don't get the math formula, imagine that the first case would be x. Second case would be y. So this one would be x plus y minus x minus y. Or y minus x, sorry. Because no, the other way around. Yeah, x minus y because it needs to be a negative. No way, the other way around because we put it in brackets. So the double negative would become positive. No. So it math. Math is so hard when you don't have pen and paper. Okay, calculators. Calculators make it even easier in most cases. But even then, you want pen and paper. Because you want only put the complex things or parts of the formula on the calculator because that's way faster than counting in your head. But there is no replacement for pen and paper in math. Well, maybe a drawing tablet of some sort or a tablet with a pen, but yeah, there's just no replacement otherwise. You still need some sort of pen-like operative and some sort of thing that it will help go into. Why is she so knowledgeable of all this? It wasn't her job. But yeah, how long did I keep a break from Ace Attorney streams overall? I don't even remember at this moment. It seemed to be like a long time. So it's kind of fitting for Phoenix to be like that he lost his memories. Because it kind of feels like I'm streaming the game for the first time. Push it. Always push it. There's just only so few rare cases where you aren't meant to push it things even further. And in those cases, even if you do, you usually get enough remaining penalties. Like if you just do it once per wrong thing. As long as you get everything else right, that is. And I actually got like one single question in the Ace Attorney Chronicles in the first case. I actually got 3 strikes from a single thing. Well, it's a combination of 2 things, but I actually saw the plan to be a bit more complex than it was, and I'm a bit sad that one piece of evidence wasn't really ever used. But whoops, I wanted to press not to continue further. But yeah, the ending did make it. Me pushing wrong buttons. A continuation from the Tuesday stream. Oh, and since I'm in a very blabbing mood today, everyone looking forward to more Might and Magic. I was unable to fix the music bug. Again, I tried multiple new fixes. No work. But I managed to check that the quest item in the dungeon actually exists. So we can actually continue with the game. I don't know about the other 3 missing ones. Well, not missing. I know the location of at least one of them. The other one is still a bit mysterious, so I don't want to spoil myself more. I'm just getting the nagging feeling that there is a place I still haven't visited at all. And the fact that that place would be somewhere where you would get by boat. Because I'd never been, well, in other place than Mist. And just waited on a place for a boat. And we will continue to press the other things just so we can know. Special move! Wait. So you are a fan of PlayStation All-Star? You want to see Wright doing objection all over again? Enlighten me! Because Phoenix is a dum-dum. I have a feeling that she was still going to do this anyway. At least I remember that would be the case. Yeah, at this moment she just declared that the defendant would like to renown her attorney. The attorney is hurting the case. There's something wrong. Please help me. I feel threatened. Oh, I just noticed two things. I need to paint on the Crater Unclean one. Things I really neglected before. The random dry and kind of broken skin on the back, plus the metal things on the butt loincloth. Yeah, it's funny how you can only see the loincloth going over the butt of the Great Unclean one. The girth just spews out in the front so much that it cannot be seen anywhere else. And not only the girth, just the girth being sliced up, also the guts just ran out. Yeah, Nurgle models are usually with their guts out. It's just part of the aesthetics. They need to get the slime and grime from somewhere. But let's actually jump to where what was it? Yeah. Far as I remember, this is the thing which we should showcase. Because if it clearly said Maggie, but we are defending Maggie. If they were actually lovers, he wouldn't make such a mistake. Like, age 30, very confident look, the police officer, they wouldn't make a mistake like this. I love this scene, especially now. Again, I'm sorry for gushing over the Ace Attorney Chronicles. Even though I've just done the first case, I'm loving the game already so much. But there were an exact moment like this in that game. Goron, everyone knows that you're lying. Like, we know that you had no alibi. We have recorded statement what you were doing.
I am fortifying this iron cage.
Which was followed by a famous blunder of...
Wait, that's terrible. Why did I say that?
There you go. Yeah, normally this could be just brushed off very quickly as the defense making weird bogus claims and wasting time. But yeah, the defense being adamant about it, it's an important thing. So it will be looked into. Well, you better not get Phoenix, he has lost his memories. Yeah, how has Payne gotten this far in his career? Overall, his family line, like his family line in the past and his family in other parts of the world, because we know of a pain in the UK as well. Yes, there is an English court case in the Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton. So we get more of the family tree. And there's even more than that, but I won't be spoiling any more than that. No. Yeah, that's the case. If the prosecution is adamant that they had relations, then in the shadow of that knowledge, there's no way a mistake like that would be made. But if it's proven that there were no relations, only a working relationship, then a mistake like that could easily be accepted. Like, I've been in multiple places where I, in the end, didn't actually know the names of my colleagues. Like, sometimes I didn't even know the first or the second name. It like switches. Certain people wants to be called with their first name, certain people wants to be called with their last name. So in many places I only knew one, and in some places I didn't even know, like, well, either of certain people. It was always awkward, but when there's never any sort of introductions, you can't blame me for not knowing. But when there have been, it's just the fact that my memory with people's name is extremely bad. Oh well. Marriage, you say? Training camp. It feels like Gumshoe has been missing quite a lot of those. And here we go. Ba, ba, ba. Like, you would think that those should and would always be mandatory things. Yeah, I know that there legitimately, even here, even nowadays, are many occupations where they have mandatory things which you have to pay for. And they are bullshit, they are always so bullshit, but it happens, especially with teachers. And you can imagine how bullshit it is that you will be like forced to go to some sort of seminar or a study thing to maintain your job, but you will also be losing time on your job. So not only that you are forced to pay for attending some sort of seminar, then you're also forced, because of that, you lack some work hours and in essence have to pay the school because you weren't there teaching, and you won't of course receive the pay for that either. Like, I know that there have been cases where a bullshit thing like that, like a single day, even a single day, have costed multiple weeks of wages for the teachers. And it just brushed off because teachers has good pay. No, it's not worth it. Not in this country. At least in those places where they are doing things legally. There's a lot of backdoor pay and it's shit like that, and those kind of things, if you're in the loop, yeah, then teaching is a well-maintained and paid job. But 8 years. In the end, like, when there's enough of age, 8 years isn't that much. But when people are young, 8 years is quite a lot. Let's actually look at the profiles again. Minus 8 years from either one. You would be fine with Dustin. Minus 8 years from Maggie. Oh shit, stay away. 8 years is long, or like is a lot of time, a lot of years or not, depending on the context. So always remember context. And that was an achievement for pressing on that, by the way. Mind your own business, pal. Imagine I wouldn't have to have waited a lot longer to have played the game on the exact date stated there. Well, actually, let's check. Which weekday is the 6th of next month? It would have been a Monday. Monday is a stream day for me, but that's been the Games Workshop day for quite a long time, so it would not have been Ace Attorney, but close enough. That make it just extremely creepy and a possible breach of privacy. From what what we know of Gumshoe, the statement that he knows everything that happens under him is so wrong. Oh, how wrong it is. But let's continue with that horrible line. That shouldn't be considered any bit of badgering. It would actually bring out a point that the witness might actually be what's the word in English again? Not that they are aligned, but they are, well, in essence that they are aligned. They are too invested in one way or another, so they won't make a good witness. The interests conflict with case. That's a good legal way to say it. It's odd that in English there is no term for a case like that. In Finnish there is a term if someone's too close to a case or a subject, and that's why they need to stay out of it. And like there is a term to if you like, which is also like used in both occasions. It's just said in a like bit differently. You like flex the word two different ways. That if you're doing it, or someone is doing it to you because of it, like getting you out. And I like the term. It doesn't mean anything on its own, but it makes sense as a word, you know. But push it. Always press further. Yeah, again, parallels to the first two cases in in the first game. Custom made. Well, of course it's relevant. That's another thing. If you ask if something is relevant or not, 90% of the cases, it is always relevant. In the 10%, you say it's not relevant because it makes something else relevant. You might already guess what the glove is going to bring forth into this case, but I won't spoil anything about it yet. It is a true oh this thing moment when you get it. It's a thing that happens often, but and now that you see the glove, you might have already guessed what I meant by oh that thing, that trope. That well yeah it's a trope. But I remember seeing like the original sprites for this glove and people using it in custom animations and cases as bananas, just because. Yeah, and not at all being influenced by by the super increased amounts of sudden monkey things posted on everything. Oh, hello Cody, thanks for the raid. I'm sorry that I missed your stream, but I was on the run. Did you finish Green Fandango? How far did you get? Because I only noticed that you even started streaming while I was on the go, but I didn't see the time, so I didn't even know how long did you stream. And like that game has a very flexible way how long certain episodes take. It's never like easy to say that oh I'm going to finish one episode and that's going to be like how long you play. In the forest. Yeah, that part is what usually takes the longest for people. I remember that there was something that was easier in the remake, but I don't remember exactly what. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's going to be way easier than you think, like way easier. You just have to think outside the box. Oh, you know it, okay. Okay, I'm gonna give a hint here. Remember the glove and look at this picture. You see something? I'm going to leave it at that. Well, because it's not consistent. That's the thing. There is no consistency in it. That's why you need the sign. Like, even if it would be, like, it's not possible to do it without it, because it's programmed in a way that you can't do it. But even if you could, there's no way you actually could. You know. Cross-examination. Shall continue. This is another funny parallel into the Ace Attorney Chronicles. It feels like they legit took certain lines from this game and just make them have a zinger, a point in that one. Oh, I have been able to keep away from all spoilers from that game. I have not been on Twitter or anything where I could run into spoilers of that kind. I will need to check few things on Twitter because there's a competitions and I want to make some posts, hopefully during the weekend or tomorrow, but hopefully I can just do it on my end without witnessing anything. But funny parallels. So what did you just say? There is a reason. There is a good reason for that, but I won't spoil. You'll just eventually know. Well, find out what's the point with that. But anyway, you can't really, no matter how good technology is, make a investigation about handwriting when you are writing with just one finger onto something with blood or into sand or anything like that, because you don't have samples for it. And even if you had hand painted samples from that person, they would be from when he was like 4. And that's no good. Even if you would have something recent, you write differently when there is a need. and you have to write completely in a different manner when you write with like something on your finger than with like a pen or a brush. And even a pen and a brush will have their unique signatures in it. Know from experience. Even the brushes make the signatures a bit different. I have a huge bunch of brushes here, and the fact how much I have worn them down should tell you that I have used them a lot. Like, I legit have a bundle of paintbrushes here. I'm just gonna actually grab it. Try to listen into the amount of paintbrushes here. You can hear them clacking a bit. I can see it in the mic. These are brushes I have spent all the way to the metal. They wear down. No matter how well you use them, they will eventually wear down. Brushes you use for dry brushing, those go super fast. But anyway, and yeah, there's no way you can do that. Gumshoe, don't do that again. Point that finger. I'm sorry, I just imagine like a way better response here that Phoenix would have done the like his objection pointing there, and like I have no idea what you mean. Edgewords pointing thing would have been way better, but we won't be seeing Edgy Boy in this case, so we'll leave Edgy Boy out of this. And it's not a major spoiler that we won't see Edgewords in the first case. It has never been the deal. And far as I remember, in none of the games it's the deal. You never see Edgeword in the first case. It's almost always pain. Pain without end. Small scratches. It doesn't look good if there are like real scratches from the writing. Oops, I pressed the button accidentally again. But yeah, that should like more showcase that maybe the hand wasn't actually living if it got scratched while writing. Like, you wouldn't call them scratches if you're just talking the small wear, like this microscopic sand particles that get into your hand when it's laying, and those sort of deal just happens when you keep your hands on sand. So wrote this name with his right hand. And just about to say that the emphasis on the right hand always reminds me of the tale of unfortunate events. Write this with your right hand. The right one. I was like surprised that the same thing happened both in the movie and in the books. Like, the movie was like surprisingly good for being what it was. It's not nearly any good as the books, but like when there is a case when the movie is good as the books. Never. There's never. It can never happen. Really. Like, there have been like exceptions in a way that there have been a game based on books, a book that was better than the original, but that's because the original is like scarcely 2 pages long, while the game is multiple hours long, and that's I have no mouth and I must scream. The game is a masterpiece. I love the book as well, but the book is so short. It's so insanely short. Yeah, it's really hard to do a fair comparison. But like that's like the only occasion where I can get on top of my head that a game is better than a book, and that's that's really on the factor how much longer the game is and explaining the story and everything compared to the very, very short book. I would more say it's inspired by than based on, because the huge difference in scale. But there's something we need to present here. Look at the glove. Doesn't it look like it would go to the right hand? And if it would go to the right hand, wouldn't that mean that your throwing arm would be the left one? And if your throwing arm is the left one, what that means? That you would be a left-handed or ambidextrous, and for some reason want to use the harder one for throwing the because it's insanely hard to find like left-handed items, and a right-hand baseball glove is a left-handed item, so present. That doesn't look like Galaxy Brain in my view. I can't see like a complete full image of that emote, but I can see its name. It more looks like the kobold is like has a headache or a brain freeze. Oh, it could just be the fact that I really can't see the eyes. So is it actually a kobold? Because to my eyes it looks kind of orc-ish as well. But I can only see a very, well, not so very, but still a very small image. It's banana. Yeah, that looks a bit more koboldish in my eyes. It doesn't have like the long nose, but not all kobolds in every fantasy have like those draconic long snouts. Yeah, this is something so simple, it should have come to mind of anyone looking at the crime scene. Like, yeah, in a state of emergency, and especially when painting with one hand, like, which hand was used shouldn't matter that much. But since only one hand was used, it really should have been the dominant one if the dominant one was functional. in most cases, in that kind of death thrones, you would try to write with both of your hands. Like half and half, like a small child would draw. Like if you look at small kids before they, because when humans are growing, there is a point where humans become like one-handed or remain ambidextrous, but it starts with using both hands for drawing. It always starts with two. It takes a while to find which hand is better, or if both hands are equally capable. But you can usually see, looking at young kids drawing, that there is a line in the middle, and the left side is done with the left, and the right side is done with the right. And like the cliche of child drawing something, where they take their funnily enough, in many times it is left hand, like way over to the right of the paper, and starting that corner. That kind of behavior always starts like way later in like, well, growing up and developing. It's usually like in a more of a point where the child might have already learned how to read, or is starting to learn how to write. And same thing goes into funny common things about kids drawing things. Like certain elements seem to always be in certain places, and there's usually also the same sort of spacing on the things, and they're just something native. It just happens. No one's taught to draw that way in like that age, but it's just the way kids tend to draw things. Human psychology and growing is weird. It's really weird. Yeah, a witness like this, just mentioned this late into the proceedings. Not good, not good. Oh, there wasn't to be continued on this episode. I'm actually a bit surprised. Let's save the progress. I wonder why it's... I'm gonna let this one be. Let's start using 2. There we go. Yeah, usually witnesses like that are good to bring from the beginning. There is, although, the fact that the first witness was the police officer investigating the crime scene, as it usually tends to be in these games. So it makes sense that the first witness was dealt all the way through first. But the second witness, even in this universe, should have been at least stated to be a thing. In real court, there is no evidence and no witnesses that are brought into like question and into the knowledge of the other party during the court. Everything is shared like months before, and it has to. If it's not shared, like if a vital piece of evidence is not shared to the defense from the prosecution, it might be stated as invalid and illegal. So it might turn the entire case upside down. But that's how the proceedings should actually go. But I see the headache of Scarf, like, knowing more about the law and just try to, like, go with it. Like, I love to have seen someone else with the same sort of pains. But I love the series too much to, like, keep it as a minus. It at least tries to make sense in a way that the law system is completely unique. The law isn't same everywhere, and the weird San Fran Tokyo thingy that the translated games are meant to be, where you eat onigiri as a hamburger breakfast, so yep, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I was actually shared a non-spoiler meme that was posted by Capcom nearer the release of the Chronicles, and it was a plate full of sushi and like, time to eat your English breakfast. The title. At least they know the memes about the translations. Yeah, like, especially with there being this recess, Phoenix should have gotten professional help. Like, if nothing else, the recess should be the place where things like this should be brought up to everyone. If he loses the case, he can't go afterward. Oh, I had lost my memory, I wasn't in my full faculties, my defense wasn't fair, she must be given a retrial. No, she should be given the option of a retrial right now. At least now. And Wright most likely could be the attorney doing that when he's in his full faculties, so he would have a way better chance to actually win. But, well, we'll go on. Let's look at the course record. Yep. His own business card. But why does he need to handwrite his cell number on the back? Shouldn't it be on the business card? Like, yeah, you might think that those numbers easily change, especially how prepaid plans was a major thing, especially during the time of the game and especially in Japan. But usually you had some sort of official contact in the business card. That's the point of the business card. With the business card you should be able to get a hang off person. So there needs to be some sort of ways to contact them. It's a lovely rendition. I would have totally loved if back in the day I would have this as a ringtone. Instead it was some garbage default shit that was on the phone. 'Cause I never had a phone that had a like actually a banger as a default ringtone. Like never. Like some of the modern phones I have had, they have had like okay sounds for like waking up, but that's really been it. And there she is. Well, if anyone says anything like that to you, that should be given. Or you should have to expect that the person is insane. But looking at what she's wearing, especially when all of this in the translation is supposed to take place in the US, you might think that they are actually insane. But, well, at least they are polite to the defendant. That's actually a good question. I don't know what should be considered to be worse. Like, there are other statements that are bad, but could they really be stated as worse than abysmal? Because things has advanced, and it needs to be stated, like, it needs to be something that's bad, but things have still advanced. So, And yeah, last minute evidence that wouldn't happen. Yeah, it feels like a very random thing. Just out of context. This is a murder case, and you having no memories of anything. You're just being brought a list of random names and numbers that might be con artists. Should feel really, really out of place. That has been said about Phoenix on the best of days. But Maya saying things like this to people, there's no wonder why she gets into trouble constantly. And I hate when games, manga and anime do this type of deal, where the eyes go over the hair. Like, yeah, I know in many cases the hair would look stupid, like the eyes would look stupid under. Like here the pupil would be like under the line, but I think it still would look way more like better. Eyebrows I can accept. Like, they make a lot more sense in a way to be over. Because in many things you have to imagine them as being something above. Also, thanks for the follow! There have been so many random follows with like random names with these follows. I'm starting to suspect that I'm just being targeted by bots. But if you are not a bot, that's kinda neat of a name. Especially compared to the other ones, which I suspect being bots. Well, it's a good thing that it's mentioned beforehand, but no, in a way, should or could that actually be mentioned? It depends on the situation, I would guess. But usually statements like that should and would be reserved if someone had something like Tourette syndrome where they really can't control what they say. But usually even then it would be formed and brought up a bit more carefully, bit more finesse. And there we go. We have another one of these super fast talkers, which you just can't stop. In the end, there is quite few characters that do this. Quite well said. Could we just put him in jail already? There will be something that you will be found guilty of. Those diamonds as cuffings, for example. There is blood on them. But yeah, what I was about to say, that I might actually take a break real soon, because it's been about an hour and a half, and I'm out of drink, so I need to get an improvement on that situation. But let's go forward just a bit more for that. Also, I don't want to hear that term. Because there's just so many cases where people in higher positions have been able to corrupt like supports with statements like that. Oh, I'm just between two places to study. I have my papers there already pending. I should get all the support that students should get. and they get extra support and helps, like forgiveness for loans and shit like that from the government, while the actual students need to, with their like bare arms and feet, to keep on the normal amount of support they're supposed to get, which is way less than being just being unemployed and not doing nothing, by the way, which is sick, but that's how it is. But yeah. I have high doubts that you are even capable of being in deep thoughts about the situation you're in. And here is the mention of banana. Well, the truth we shall obtain. But I think that this would be the good moment for me to take the break. And it's gonna be a couple of minutes. There is a situation because I went to the new quote-unquote shopping mall to gain some cheap drinks because it was on offer. So I have to actually rearrange and do some mixing with the drinks and so forth. So it's gonna take a few minutes longer than normal, but just a minute or two, regardless. I'll be right back.
The planet Cronus, beset on all sides by the tides of war, this once quiet colony became a savage battlefield. 7 armies clashed on this one world, each refusing to back down, each convinced it was in the right. From beneath the sands of Cronus' central desert came the Necrons, ancient machines bent on eradicating all life. But another evil already had its eyes on the planet. From the depths of the warp, the demonic forces of chaos arrived to enforce their claim. To oppose these fearsome powers, the planet's rulers in the Tau Empire sent their elite soldiers and sophisticated battlesuits into the fray. From the mighty Imperium of Man came the Imperial Guard, there to secure Cronus for the glory of the God Emperor. Like a green tide, the Orc Horde descended on Cronus, caring little for others' claims and sowing destruction in its wake. The Eldar, ancient enemies of the Necrons, emerged from their webway to pursue their own agenda on Cronus. And last came the Space Marines, finest and most uncompromising of the Imperium soldiers. Seeing a world beset by aliens and heretics, they undertook a great purge. A dark crusade had begun, It could only end with the total victory of one of these factions, and the total defeat of all others.
And I have returned. So that took a bit longer than I intended. I had to make an investigation. There was a strange light on my front door, like peeking under it. It was obvious, like when I actually looked into it, that somehow the sunlight is spewing from like the door from the stairwell. it has never been like that, so it must be that only at this time of year, at that exact moment, it happens. Because after I was finished with my drinks, the light didn't show up anymore. It's just small wonders in life which I never noticed. It's like seeing the green sunset. The shocks of that. Like, there being the nightless nights in the north, like that's normal. That happens all the time, like the sun not going down. It's nothing to really see, in a way, because you have to wait a really long time to even notice. And the fact that, yeah, the sun just doesn't go down. The sun reflecting on other odd things and being an odd color. Now those are interesting to see. Well, discrediting people for the time, it worked before. This being like a mixture of the first two cases in the first game, so... But we are going to push it. It's just always the thing to do. Always. Well, that's really talking to the player, aka me. But I hate the fact that my desk doesn't make, like, even if I would slam it real hard, it doesn't really make that good of a sound. I looked at the mic results, and it was mainly just the vibrations of the mic itself being like shaken when I hit the desk. Hitting the desk itself makes no sound. But it's fun to slam a desk and just point. Nobody can argue with that. No way. And yeah, everybody can see it in the picture. Although the time in the picture itself is surprisingly late in a way, but surprisingly early on the other ways. And there it goes again. I wouldn't even say first class waste of time, because first class waste of time should be something fancy, something that you actually pay for. Because you really ain't getting something fancy without paying for. Like, even if you are really privileged, you pay for it one way or another. One way or another. And there's no stopping him. Oh, it was much shorter than I remembered. Well, yes, if we would be talking to even a remotely normal person, but we ain't. An eye? No. No way. So you are one of these animals? It's usually just the way that if someone raises their voice and you respond to it, it will always be pushed onto you, even though it's unfair. More again, biases on the prosecution side. This is one of the rare cases where a witness is not stating how horrible and ugly the defendant are, but actually praising that they have a sweet face, and that pretty defendant. So rare. So rare. The Banang. Why? Why mention Banang? Even if Banang, why mention? No good. Monkey be cage now. Bah! Well, this should be obvious. I technically spoiled it already, but I did not mention it in context. I was mentioning it happening out of context, and it has. So let's get to the correct line. Banang. We present the Banang. Well, yeah, you should be sweating all right. This witness loves bananas. Also, this most likely is true as well. But, I'm starting to remember. This being the first case, I would think that you are not going to be penalized for this. But you might be, and if you wouldn't, just be forced to go all the way around. So let's just go to the right thing. No, I actually don't, because you could be talking about multiple things, and the way how you grind your teeth without grinding them, it's very disturbing. Get that demonic shit out of here. Explain. Osteocasis, you say? Joan of Arc of all things? Yeah, it was possible for him seeing the face, but there is no way he's going to recognize it if he thought a baseball glove to be a bunch of bananas. Like, if anyone could make the mistake by at the heat of the moment itself, because in a city environment you would expect to see a bunch of bananas rather than a baseball glove, even in place where baseball would be popular, because people eat a lot of bananas and buy them a lot, and cities are filled with stores. So you would expect bananas more. But you would have been seen, you would have seen the quote-unquote bananas after they stop moving, after they have fallen all the way down. So you would not have made the mistake. You would have corrected in your head, no, they weren't bananas, they were a baseball glove or something else. Maybe say it was a shot, even if you don't look, you would more likely correct it to be a plush toy of some sort. And that just should be accepted that, yeah, you didn't really look. But there's no way. Within 10 minutes. Well, what happened next is that we keep pushing and pressing and presenting, but maybe not in that order. Was it? Yeah, it's enter, but I don't know. Do I actually want to keep on pressing enter? Or was it space? No, space doesn't work. It has to be enter. Not feeling like pressing enter. More of a mouse type of deal for this. That's actually funny. I can't remember the last time I heard that there have been any sort of like training of any sort of deal like this in schools in a very very long time. Like when I was young, there were days like when the fire department came to the school and they taught a few things about fire safety, and then there was the time when the policemen came and they taught about some other random subject. But those days have been long past. I haven't heard from any family members, or I even know some kids in the walkers right now because some used to. There's only one anymore, and they are older than that come for the Pokemon TCG days. And they haven't even had an experience like that. Like, I guess everything is just expected that the kids just go to internet and learn things. I bet that most wouldn't actually have any idea how they are meant to behave in a call. Are they meant to call? Most likely they know where they should call, but not actually should they and how. So yeah, let's leave it at that. There we go. Gumshoe spewing out random failures of his life. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. The sound you just heard, I'm gonna make it again. This is actually me mixing up paints. Like I said, I want to get on to some painting after the stream is done. And like during the stream, now like my hands are mostly free during these streams. So I want to do something useful, and mixing paints would be a thing. I've been doing it a lot, especially like lately when I'm in calls. But Discord somehow filters this entire sound away. Like, no one has been able to hear any of it, even though I do it right next to the mic. But I'm streaming now. The voice codec is completely different. You guys actually do hear it. I can see it in the waves. Like when I do the... Oh, come on. Why does it suddenly stop clacking? Did the agitators got stuck on something? Now I need to check. What happened? What the heck happened? Yeah, the agitators must have gotten stuck on something. But yeah, this is clearly heard. I can see that the audio waves go to yellow when I do that. And yeah, there are some stainless steel balls in the paint. Those are called agitators. I got them because they help mixing up the paint so much. Without them, like this paint doesn't have any. And you shouldn't be able to hear almost like anything. You might hear like the air going back and forth when my hand is going near the mic, but nothing else. Because this paint doesn't have any agitators yet. And it's way harder to mix paint. I'm glad that the agitators were surprisingly cheap. There's 100 of these in total. Even if I put 2 in every paint can, it's still gonna last me for a while. I doubt I'm going to need to get a second dose of these for a while. Unless I start putting them into other things as well, which I might. Because I might make sprue goo, for example. that recipe, it does look like something I would want to use to create some custom things. I'm surprised that he didn't go into his own jargon from that. But here's the deal. There's multiple things wrong with the things he says. But I wonder which one was the thing I was supposed to go first? Which was the catalyst? I think it's this because it states the exact time. Let's look at the record. Yeah, there is quite of a difference. 15 minutes. And that's way longer than there ever should be when you call for assistance. So I think this was the first catalyst. I was getting worried there because the meter stayed for so long. I was like, wait, shit, did I remember wrong? But no, it was that. And yeah, overall, in most cases, it's not just me remembering the games, it's about just them making sense overall. Like this, it does make sense. But the random memories of me remembering certain statements out of order makes things a bit harder occasionally. And like I said, my memory of this game is way worse than of the first one. And like I'm at this moment, I'm not actually sure which one's even worse of my memory of this second game or the third game. I think that my memory of the third game should be worse, but on the other hand, it should be better since I played it more recently. Also, what do you mean? Good job. I out of confusion. Don't say that this is some sort of random make the streamer say something deals. So I wish to gain some response to this. Little dazed. Oh, that's what you mean. It's not the first time I'm playing the game, so I have played through the Trilogy on the 3DS. It was just the case that I love the series. I want to share it with people. And also there's achievements, so I want the achievement hunt. I was surprised that there is actually achievements on the Switch version of the Chronicles as well. Like they are in-game things, but it immediately made me clean. Although I have a feeling I might not be able to collect all of them on first go, because I don't want to spoil myself with that one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like Ace Attorney overall, it's one of my favorite series. Like the amount of random extra content created by people out of it I always enjoy. And I love the anime. Just for the case of I can just watch the events happening in a bit different environment. And the live action movie, that was like the greatest video game movie ever made. Unfortunately, it hasn't been officially released here in any form. I'm super sad. And the place I used to see it, I did see it before, it doesn't exist anymore, so it has created this black hole, this void, that I hope one day they will fill and release it legally here. I know there have been digital releases of it, but they haven't, like, they are not available here. There are so many, like, they do the same shit with Pokemon movies, for example. They are on Google Store, but you can't buy/rent them in this country. And a VPN won't help because my account is from this country, so my account is unable to get this. And why not? Some of them even have the dubs, the local dubs, but you still can't buy them. Why? That's neat. I was surprised that it actually received the second season. Like, there was a long pause between. I'm just hoping that I would see soon, like a third season, or at least an announcement that there will be a third season. Yeah, that's true. Why you ask? There is always something. Ihan peruspäivä sanoisin. Hypothetically speaking, it's been far from average day, but still. Just the usual response. We aren't that good at small talking. People are very content of just being quiet. It's part of the culture, part of the norm. And I normally do like the fact that people aren't uncomfortable by the silence. But the way how the culture has shifted, it has created far too many occasions where you can feel that people are anxious about the like stillness and quietness, even though they shouldn't, because they have grown in this environment, in this culture. Well, here's the deal. We know, we don't really know at this moment the true nature of this phone, nor about the names. But if I remember right, we check here. There is this box which really seems like a phone booth right next to the scene. So it should be obvious that there shouldn't be a need to find a phone booth when it's right there? Yep, 3 steps. And there you go. I can't remember the last time I actually seen a phone booth. I won't count my trip to UK because they were rare there as well, but there were still some around. Most seem to be like as a tourist attraction type of deal though. But over here, I think the last time I did see a phone booth was actually when I was taking the train from my cousin's graduation party to back here. Went past a certain small town near the capital, well, a part of the city, which seems to be like from years past. Like it like the area looks like it's 20, 30, 40 years in the past. I saw phone booths over there. If that's not taken into consideration, because I couldn't see, did the phone booths actually have phones? Were they anywhere functional, openable, or anything? The last time would be when I visited a large shopping center near the city. They have a museum dedicated to a certain clown, and they have lots of different phone accessories, like, and phone type of deals. They have a phone booth in there, and you're supposed to be able to pick up the receiver piece, and you're supposed to hear this clown talk to you through the phone. It never worked when I have been there, because it would have been lovely to see were they actually able to put like a modern speaker system into it in a way that it would still sound like a public phone, because the filtering is it's unique. Like every sort of different device, of course, has filters. How it filters sound, takes in sound, gives out sound. Public phones is something that can't be replicated that easily. And not so many have experienced a public telephone. Like me personally, I have never called anyone on a public phone. I never received a phone call in a public phone. I've been given a public phone, like to me, like the receiver to me, so I could have sent a couple of words to the person on the other side, but I wasn't the one calling at the first place. So well, there is an idea. Why didn't the witness call police right away? We know that their eyesight is bad. Could there be a reason why their eyesight was bad at the moment? Could it be that the missing glasses were never actually missing? I think this is the time to press into this. Wait, what? You're learning? From the response, I just assumed that you were finished too. Sorry. I didn't know that you are learning. And yeah, I'm fully capable of actually making all of these streams with 2 languages. And I even repeat and switch back and forth ihan koska tahansa haluan. Se on todella helppoa vaihtaa kieltä, kun osaa 2 kieltä täysin. But there is the difficulties. If someone comes in when I'm speaking Finnish, they are most likely just gonna go away. Plus, I'm so rooted in English language more than well, Finnish at the moment, because I don't really read books or anything in Finnish. I haven't done that in ages. I do buy like the translated mangas because they are so much cheaper than the English ones. That's pretty much the only things I read in Finnish anymore. But usually the stacks of books I have and magazines, English. Games, English. I have even started installing my OSs in English because I don't have to worry that much that my parents need to be able to use my devices. My phone I have set to be Finnish and tablet just because I know that there might be occasion where I need to hand my phone or my tablet to my parents at some point when I'm home and they need to be able to operate it. So it needs to be in Finnish in that case. But yeah, so if you're actually just learning the language, how is it going? From what I've been talking to people, it's usually a very hard language to learn because Finnish is a very unique language. Like, overall, I don't like the language, but there is one sensibility in the language which I just can't get over. Finnish is like one of the super rare languages where everything is said exactly the way it's written. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why other languages don't have the same? What benefit there is for things to be said and written differently? They should be the same thing. Otherwise it's harder to learn either you don't learn how to speak or you don't learn how to write. Like when I was young and we just started learning English in school, people were always just saying things exactly as they were written down. And yeah, it will take a while to get a hang of the language. Like, I say if it's the same thing for you, but most people who are studying Finnish and are not native speakers said that the most hardest part of the language is when the words are twisted in a way. Like, I don't remember how the term is said in English, but like if you say that something is yours or his or hers, the same thing in Finnish, like onko se hänen, sinun, minun, you know, like in that manner, like the same word getting different endings or starts to get a bit of a different meaning. Usually those have been the hardest, because in Finnish those alterations, there is an insane ton of them. But usually people understand you fully if you just say the basic words one after another. They will immediately know that you are not a native speaker, and in some cases it might be hard to find out exactly. But the keywords are usually enough to be understood, and that's what usually most people care about. Yeah, it's good if it's going well. So far, I haven't known anyone who was studying the language and dropped out, that they were unable to do it. But it always takes time. It's time, of course. Yeah, pronunciation. It's everything is said exactly as it's written down. That's the logic, and I love it. But I have a couple of friends on the Discord server, which you can actually find out if you write !Discord. You can find the invite link. There's one friend there particularly who constantly finds random things written in Finnish and tries to pronounce them. And I don't know how he finds always the exactly wrong ways to pronounce things, and they feel so completely random. Yeah, even the judge has actually, like, this is monumental. Even the judge is already, like, on the track of what's going on. He has an idea that there's no way that the defendant is guilty. Yeah, that's a good point in a way, but... Now here's the funny thing. If you would fail from this point on, the judge should already know that the defendant shouldn't have been the culprit. But it will just be the case. It's like... There are few cases throughout the games where if you fail right at the end, everything is already like clear that the person being accused is innocent. But because you couldn't get the last note, the last clue right, the guilty party gets away with it, and somehow the guilt still goes on to the innocent party, even though the trials are meant to be about defending the innocent, not finding the guilty. But there is a way. We already heard about it. Yeah, there was a way. And it was one random line, which we heard before. Because it was mentioned on the phone. Take that! They really do have a lot of things to do with all of this. They're really milking it, because I would at least assume that they made a unique rendition of the song to be the ringtone. So of course they want to blast it out a few times. And I'm not faulting them, I love it. There will be other ringtones in the future of the series, which they didn't play nearly as much, even though they should have. He made a fatal slip. Goes he across with the ranger with the big iron on his hip. And here I would post the meme video about the big iron if I had it easily available. But unfortunately I don't really have any that sort of deal like easily available during the streams itself. Maybe if I would create complete highlight videos on the things, that could be done. Like the only thing I can do right now is I can summon in Corner Cat, but Corner Cat won't be happy when I summon him to be here when there is nothing wrong with the game, so thank for your service, Corner Cat. And there he goes. Well, yeah, a person would not normally kill one without reason, but the lack of motive have never been enough to get anyone off the hook before. When they are accused, that is, when they have been called to be the defendant. Yeah, it's time to bluff again. So, motive. Phoenix really has to bluff his way here, because he can't be certain. But we were given something which really gives out a possible motive. Cute. Oh, I actually haven't seen the default emote in a while. I have to race with my face. Oh yeah, there's different for face and the body. I just haven't actually seen them. I so rarely use default emotes on Twitch. Because I have acquired some unlocks, and of course there's mine, which anyone can get by subscribing or donating enough bits. I always put all the ranks up that are available, so they are there. But yeah, back to the game. There is the possible motive. Phoenix just have to go with it because he can't be certain, but it's the only thing he has, so... Yeah, but that's not actually known to be certain, but Phoenix is in the bluffing mode, so... Also, like, that con artist reigns are, like, they must be idiots. Or at least he's a complete idiot for having all of the members in a contact list on his phone, which he specially lost in a freaking park. Like, con artists can't be that careless. Con artists should be using burner phones that would have no contacts at all. And there he goes. I always remember that those are longer. Yes, I'm a bit used to the Grand making a bit longer lines. I expect it to go like a mile a minute for at least half of a minute before it stops. Well, here you can just use basic logic. If he would be looking into the group, he wouldn't kill a police officer that has the phone. He would ask the police officer for help. If he would be the victim, It would be the same thing, even more so. Police could really help. But being a member of the group, that's a clear motive. Or if I could, if I would loan the famous line from the show Pasilla. Mikä se tässä on? Motiivi! I actually watched that specific episode last week. I went through and marathoned the spin-off completely from DVDs. And yeah, it was a good ending for the show. In a way, I'm saddened that there isn't any more of it, but I could easily see it would have gotten really stale. In the spin-off, there were like a couple of things that felt a bit like retracing from the original series, but it remained surprisingly fresh all the way. I should like restart the marathon from the start, because I actually held a marathon at like a certain, what would I call it? A cultural no, a group is not a good word. A cultural community event where we did actually marathon the series, but we didn't get through more than the first season and a bit of the second before people left. So I should really continue from that, or even start from the scratch. I lack of material that is I could just easily put on the TV side and build figures on the same time, because I have a lot of figures I should be building. I even got a new pack today. I think I already mentioned that I got the vampire team for Underworld, finally. Like, it's the last team I've been missing. Okay, there is the new starter kit as well, which I don't yet have. But hopefully I get it on the Saturday, because I have one reserved and waiting for me. It's just been waiting that I have the funds for it. And tax returns just happened, and after paying my rent for this month, there is enough for that. And that's pretty much it. Next month's rent, that's going to be a mystery again. Well, we have already gone like deep into well, the train of thought, like what really happened and why. So there is the simple thing, the immediate thing, when you look at the victim's profile. What didn't agree with the witness? A policeman holding the phone of a con artist. Yeah, that doesn't look good on the con artist part, now does it? Yeah, you would expect that the police should have done a check on the phone, and at least before they would return the phone to anyone, they would ask, like, check the contacts. It's like the safest and best way to make sure that if someone is the owner of a phone, that you would go to contacts and ask some questions about them, because contacts is like the least personal place where to make a check like that. There might be some things there people might not want to see, like if you have, say, let's say certain services numbers, for example, but it's still like the safest. If you would ask like media files or something like that, that's going to be immediately straight too personal. Pictures is something outsiders should never look on one's phone. It's a huge breach of privacy. Like if someone would take my phone and start going through the pictures, and if they would actually have the mentality that they're going to go through all of them, I would be able to find them before they got anywhere near to completion. There's so many. Oh. I'm not a fun person to go to museums with if you don't have time and are not patient, because I take hours on museums, even simple ones, because I want to really peruse through things. I take a lot of pictures. I sometimes even compare things that I have pictures of or notes on my phone to items I see. I really enjoy museums. I wish that I would be able to go to more of them. And overall, I miss traveling. I haven't done next to no traveling after I moved here. And oh yeah, we had the breakdown. Yeah, with faces like that, you also already should just put the cuffs on. The person is losing their mind. Well, that is a good argument in a way. Phoenix doesn't really have that much of proof that the phone would be his. Going into detail like that, when the person is trying to deny it, then you would really need to go into details, like pictures and shit like that. And at a police investigation, that should be legal and doable, but that's not a smartphone. These games were meant to take place, like, far as I remember, at like 2004, like early 2000. So smartphones weren't really a thing. Phones really weren't able to take pictures. And those that were, the quality, the horrible quality. I remember when I first seen like those first Nokias that had cameras on them that took black and white pixelated pictures, like they took like shadows of things. They were really freaky. I kind of miss that you can't generate an image like that anymore. Like at least I haven't seen a filter that looks like exactly like the same. I kind of miss that. I wish that would be an option. There have been many old-timey filters, pixelated filters, but nothing that striking. But, well, here we have two options which both make sense, but he can deny the numbers. There's nothing we can like make him just agree. Oh, I know that person. He wouldn't agree, and his own number wouldn't be stored in it, and we don't know his number, like overall. And it's like, even though we would know that phone's number per se, we have nothing to connect it to him. We don't have his LinkedIn profile or something that has phone number. But prints? There should be plenty. But Could there be his prints in it? And there we go. Phoenix has forgotten that he has destroyed the evidence. Bop, bop, bop. Why when we can't? Like, saying it like that makes it pretty obvious that you tampered with the phone. But again, we can't prove that. And he's breaking about a simple question like that. That should... Yeah... Not a good moment to get your memory back, but... And again, here, like at this moment, it would have been, again, so much better if Phoenix would have asked for himself to be examined. Because he should present real easy detectable blunt trauma to his head. And that would have been made in the evidence that he was assaulted. That caused him to lose his memory. And that would have put this trial to be at a later date, when he recovers his memories. That would have put a additional claim onto this guy for trying to assault a attorney in a freaking courthouse, no less. Don't say things like that. It will always make people look very, very sleazy. But wait and see is like never the option. You always need to raise on
Objection! Hold it!
everything is a bit high horse take, but proving a simple fact, yeah, that's gonna be easy. Now that have anyone already guessed, how could it be proved? How the pieces of evidence we now have could be used to prove the phones, the truth about the phones. Yeah, again, these one-shot type of deals. It's so odd that we get this on a the first case one-shot deals. You wouldn't think on the first case they would do this, but they did. They did. Although I don't think it's not that hard. You see how much you would lose if you present something wrong. So it's not, even though it's presented as a like one-shot deal, it's not really that. We can fail a couple of times, but how about we phone Phoenix's number? Wait, I didn't remember that you actually got on it. I didn't remember you actually get the judge's business card as an item. The heck? I still can't read it. Wait, have there been a case where we see judge's business card before? Or after? I don't recall it being the case. But let me take a step of that. But yeah, exchanging business card is a very Japanese thing. Yeah, so that might feel very odd thing to just happen. Like out of the blue. But it is very part of the culture. And there's like the certain way that you need to present your card, and the culture of who should present their card first and in what manner, and it's a huge package to like learn. But everyone needs business cards. Everyone needs things to put the business cards into, organize them, keep them maintained. It's part of the culture. And the way how in Japan they keep certain traditions alive, I would think that this business card tradition might survive for a long time still. Like, the only way I can see it dying is when there is the complete and utter generational shift of leaders. And here we have one of the other ringtones they don't play enough. I love it. Phone version of the Steel Samurai. They make so many versions of the Steel Samurai song. And funny enough, this phone version is the most played, but they don't play that often. And he admits that that sound isn't the normal one. Yeah, this is very, very grim. That's a very grim way to go. Although I don't think it should really actually be possible to do it that way, because you need to constrict it by hand in order to stroke yourself. It shouldn't be possible to actually die to it. You might suffer brain damage because you go all the way to the point where you get knocked out, but you shouldn't be able to die to it. The only way you should be able to die to it if you can keep the constriction up when you have passed out. And that would be more like hanging. And hanging is never a good way to go. Trust me. There is so much study about hangings. It is, unfortunately, it's still the main method of execution in many countries. One we have talked about today as well. I won't mention it though, but yeah, it's unbelievable that the hanging would, well, it's still a mainstay way somewhere. It really shouldn't. It's a spectacle for people, yeah, but execution shouldn't be the spectacle. Unless we are getting gladiator games back, executions are not meant to be a spectacle for people. Okay, see you later. Bye. Nice of you dropping by. I won't be streaming much longer anyway. We have soon reached 3 hours mark. I don't know how did this first case took me actually a full stream, but it did. And far as I remember, this game had 4 chapters, I think, instead of 5. I think there was 4 in this one, because the 5th was an extra in the last one, just because DS release. This one was DS from the get-go, so there should be 4 cases in total. Others were longer than this, but I don't remember exactly how long each one was. I don't remember how they were separated. So, expectations, every episode other than this might be 2 or 3 streams per episode. This one we canned on first go, but, well. Also, 9-4. How are you alive? Yeah, but like that makes you just an insane survivor. Like, if you go through all that shit, it doesn't mean that you have super bad luck. It means you actually have super good luck because you survived all of that shit. But that's just being stupid. Like, even if you ever not even tied at a tic-tac-toe, that's just you being stupid. Goddess of Misfortune. It's a nice title though. You could start wearing this black latex clothing and put on this tail and cat ears and call you have a superpower. And I'm not joking. The character Black Cat in Marvel Comics, she actually has the superpower of bad luck. That's actually the deal in the comics. And it worked, like it happened in the 94 series as well. Not from the start, but I remember it was introduced at like a later season, like a boost to her powers, as far as I remember. But like, even though there was a huge arc where Peter and well, Spider-Man and Black Cat got into a huge fight like a few years ago in the comics, she didn't really use and bring up her power a lot in that feud. She tried something completely new. And I don't know, did that situation ever get resolved fully? Because there was the series, like the entire universe-wide reboot of a sort. Even though I love the way that it wasn't a reboot, it was an actual event that went by and changed things. And the fact that many comics are skipped over here, so their conclusions might just have been skipped instead of not happening. just a present to say thanks. No, you don't get something custom made as just a random thanks. Especially that you get someone an adult a baseball glove. You might get a kid a baseball glove as a normal present, that's acceptable. But an adult, no, you need to know the person in order to do that. Or you are trying to get them to play, and most likely to play with you. So that's why they would need a glove. Like, if I were given a baseball glove as a present, I would be really surprised. Most likely angry because people didn't even notice that they got the wrong-handed one. But on the second hand, that I would be really surprised. And like expecting, when are the curse words, now you need to start playing baseball with me, would come. And, well, no one would really actually say baseball here, they would say baseball. It's a different sport. Like, instead of the pitcher throwing the ball at you at an insane speed, the top speed they can, instead the pitcher goes like, there you go, toss it in the air in front of you and then you hit it. That's the difference between baseball and baseball. But yeah, as a sport played in school and especially by kids, baseball is way more safe and better for kids than baseball. Because, like, immediately you can see the amount of bullying happening with baseball. The bullies just throw the ball at the kids when they are the pitcher by design, just to bully them. In baseball, on the other hand, like, the only danger is that, like, when the pitcher comes to you and throws the ball in the air, that you would be hit with the baseball bat. But usually things are arranged in a way that never really happens. And if it happens, it's like, it's clear that oh, you're doing that on purpose, or that, well, the teacher has failed. Ba-ba-ba-bum. This is a nice recap of things, but it's missing characters, so yeah, that's a very good summary of the judge. He's so swayed by other people. No, that's I don't accept. He doesn't always come with the right verdict, because you can lose. It's really hard to pursue him on your side. Yeah, Pain, like, nobody remembers him. I bet people remember him as a whiny loser, but I bet most people wouldn't remember his name. Well, if anyone remembers the ending of the first game, well, no, yeah. Yeah, and this is like an actually a lovely way of like making sure that why doesn't Phoenix contact this or that person? Well, they just lost all their contacts. They should have kept few things like a bit more hazy, that his memory is still awake and it needs to recover more. Because him claiming that he got everything back makes it a bit like, why doesn't he search for the people and get their phone number back? that was the last turnabout. And I got the achievement for that. The next one is Reunion and Turnabout. I would like to save. Let's save in the second one. Boom. There we go. But you saw a car. You saw a speeding car there. But that's all you get this time. Because we ain't starting the next case this time. We are going to do well as much as we can with it next time. Although I have to warn, because I'm really intrigued to go on like a tour of the graveyard that's near my apartment. I might have to delay the stream next week, but we'll have to see, will that tour still happen or not? Because they might not happen at all. Well, with the current situation in the world, as you know, I won't go more into it. But yeah, let's start by thanking a lot everyone for joining. It was fun seeing new people and old people around, and hopefully you join me next time, which will be on Monday with more Battlefield Gothic, and then on Tuesday for more Might and Magic 6 with now hopeful future that we can actually finish the game, because we are mostly done, and far as I remember there aren't many other objects we need anymore, so we can finish the game. Even though we can't finish all of the quests, but boo-hoo, real sad. Maybe we find the missing items in the Might and Magic 7. It could be possible, so, you know. And then, next Thursday, let it be delayed or not, more Ace Attorney. Justice for all. So, I would like to thank again everyone so much for joining. Let's do a raid, because I see certain someone streaming, and I want to see their stream, because I have been missing their streams for multiple weeks now, for my streams taking so long and or not being around. I should have the button. It worked. It actually worked. So let's raid Scarf. He's playing Broken Sword, and I want to see how that's going. So, well, raiding. See you later. Bye.